Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday's After School Club Junior Makers. My name is Kim. I'm a community learning specialist with Do Space, and today we are going to be having some fun and continuing on our um, origami series by making some fun Halloween origami. So you can see here that we are going to be making a fun little pumpkin, a fun little ghost, and then we are also going to be making these like claws. I have made a few already, so it looks a little bit something like this. So they are a lot of fun. So if you need some last minute something to for a costume for your hand, you can make some claws. They turn out pretty well. They're sturdy. Yeah, they are pretty. I think they're fun. Maybe if you wanted to dress up as Edward Scissorhands, you can if you had some silver or some gray paper, you can make some Edward Scissorhands hands. That's kind of what they remind me of. Yeah, so that is what we are going to be doing today. So I think we're going to get started with our claws. What do you think? We'll make a few and then we'll move on to our other activities today. So yeah, so if you've been with us the last couple weeks, you will know that origami is the Japanese art of paper folding. And it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if maybe you haven't been joining us in the past a couple weeks, but if you've ever made a paper airplane, then you've done origami. You may not think that paper airplanes are like origami, but they are. So yeah, um, the nice thing about it is that we are, all you need is some paper. Right now I have some green um, copy paper. Basically, it's just copy paper size of 11 and a half or 11 by 8.5 paper. So as long as it's rectangular, then you should be good to go. So, and it can be any color. Obviously, if you only have some white paper, you can always color it after. Maybe you have some different size rectangle paper, some construction paper, cardstock. I wouldn't get too thick. There is a lot of folding onto itself, and then it gets a little bit thick. Um, so I would say if you are able to um, maybe get a little bit thinner paper, if you not at least not cardstock, I would say construction paper or copy paper would be fine. So yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to make sure I'm in focus. My camera's being a little wonky. Yeah, so what we are going to be doing first, you just want to lay it out kind of lengthwise. And we're basically going to be taking one corner, doesn't really matter which corner, um, and we're going to be taking one corner and taking it to the opposite side of your rectangle. Basically what you're going to want to try and do is align this edge, the short edge, one of your short edges, to the opposite edge. Well, not the opposite, because that would be opposite, but for the other side's edge. So basically it's going to be something like this. And as long as I feel like kind of know once your edges kind of line up, take a little bit, and you know you got a good, if you get a nice like even point. And if it's not perfect, that's totally fine. It does not need to be perfect. Especially if it's just going to be our costume, right? I have a marker here. I'm actually going to use this marker to kind of seal down my crease just to make it a nice, good crease. Okay, so the next thing you are wanting to do is we are going to actually be bringing this corner and bringing it down to the opposite corner. So we have, basically you're just making a smaller triangle is what you are doing. So we have our smaller triangle, excellent. And so the next thing we are going to do is we have a rectangle here and we have our triangle here. And we're going to be taking these two corners of our rectangle and we're going to be bringing them up to this bottom edge of our triangle. And so you'll know you are pretty good if we're aligning, basically we're aligning the short edges up towards the bottom edge of our triangle. So just try to make as square as possible. And if there's like a little bit of a gap between this edge and this edge, that's actually okay. I found that it's actually maybe even a little bit easier if there's a little bit of a gap, but if there's not either, it's okay. I'm gonna have a gap on one and not a gap on on the other. So I'm gonna use my marker to kind of press down. Just makes nice clean creases. And then basically what you're gonna do is bring the rectangular part up towards the triangle. You're almost just like folding up onto the triangle. And if you need this. Okay. So next thing you are going to want to do is actually I want to do it this way. There we go. You want to just fold it in half. So this corner to this corner, and we're going to actually open it back up. So it's not going to stay, but you still want a good crease. So I'm going to kind of press that down. You still want a good crease. We are going to open it back up. And we are going to make a fold that we're actually going to be doing in all three of our origamis. So it's a pretty consistent fold. I wouldn't say important. I mean, it is an important fold, but we are going to be doing it in all three of our origami models today. So basically what we are going to do is you are going to be bringing one edge. Basically, you're going to be bringing this edge so it aligns with this middle crease. And so we're kind of folding it up in a way and aligns with the middle crease. And then we're getting kind of a flap, right? We're getting this like little flappy guy. Little flappy guy. And basically after you do that, you can kind of see how this edge folded up, and it's kind of, now we've made like a straight edge that goes along with our crease. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to fold right, like kind of over it. When you do that, you're going to end up with almost like an arrow. And then we're going to actually fold this arrow in half. So it should kind of line up, and if it doesn't, again, not a big deal because it's just for your fun personal use. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm actually going to open it up again. So I had it folded. So I might do that all, because I kind of went through that kind of quickly. So we folded this so that this edge aligns with the middle crease. I folded it on top of itself to make an arrow. And then I folded it in half just to get a nice crease. Now I'm going to open this back up to see that we have our arrow shape. I'm going to bring this up this way because you should see on your sides a little pocket. You should have like a little, should have created just a nice little pocket with all that folding. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to take the opposite, this corner, and we're going to fold it down into that pocket. And what I found that the easiest way to do is if you fold it back in half, and if you fold it down so that it basically, the line folds up where the line aligns where the pocket line is. You can just kind of fold it down. So kind of these two creases align or line up. Then you should be able to, if you open that pocket, see that nice little pocket, and this guy is going to fold right down into it, just like that, folding down into the pocket. And have to stuff it down there a little bit. And so when you do that, oof, it's not the prettiest, but that's okay. When you do that, you have basically made your very first little claw. Now, You might think you want to put your finger in that pocket that we just stuffed that corner into. We don't. We do not. So you will have also created a couple of folds. So you should see that there is kind of like an opening in the part that sticks out. And if you just kind of jam your finger in there, then it makes a nice little pocket for your finger. Ooh. And so, yeah, it's really, I mean, they're pretty sturdy. They're not going anywhere. It's on there pretty nicely. I mean, I have, I mean, I wouldn't say I have huge fingers, but, you know, adult-sized fingers. So if you're a kiddo making this, your fingers should, you know, fit fairly nicely inside it without too much slippage. So yeah, so that is just one. I'm going to make another one just because I think repetition is always good for learning. So let's make one more. And I'm actually going to make an orange one this time. Some bright neon orange. I think you can go wrong with some bright neon orange copy paper, right? So again, we have our just regular size copy paper. We're gonna take one corner and bring it up to the opposite side, aligning the short edge with the long edge until it makes, basically, again, we're making a triangle, aren't we? We are making a triangle, and I kind of face it towards me, so a little bit. I think it's a little bit easier for me anyway to line everything up. And I didn't get a perfect corner, but that's okay. Okay. And then we are going to take this corner and bring it down to the opposite one, just like that. Basically making another triangle. So we're just bringing it down to the opposite corner. Just like that. Okay. So then you are going to have your triangle and a rectangle. Should I go back through that again? I kind of went through that fast. So we're doing it opposite, one corner to the opposite side of the paper, and then the other corner towards the opposite corner, making a triangle and a rectangle. Very nice. Okay, so now because we have our triangle and rectangle, we are going to take the two corners, or kind of two open corners of our rectangle, and we're going to fold them in towards the triangle. And so again, we're going to try and align the short ends of our rectangle along the bottom of our triangle. So, and again, if you have a little bit of a gap between the edge of the short edge of the rectangle and the edge of our triangle, that's okay. So we're just going to fold that. Do the same with the opposite side. Just aligning. So then it's going to look like this. So it's kind of, I think it kind of looks like a boat, like a sailboat. Like this is the top sail, and this would be the bottom part of the boat. And so we're going to just be folding this rectangular part up onto the triangle. Folding the bottom of the boat up onto the sail. If we're going with that analogy. Okay. So then what we want to do is kind of face it towards the side, and we're going to fold it so that one corner down to the opposite corner. And we're going to open it back up. I'm going to take my marker, get a nice crease on it. Okay, we're going to open it back up. And then we are going to, again, we're going to fold this in so that this side of our triangle aligns with the middle crease that we just made. So we're going to fold it in so the edge of our triangle kind of lines up with our middle crease. Making another tiny triangle, just like that. And then we're going to basically then fold it onto itself, like that, making an arrow. Got kind of like an arrow. And then we're going to fold it in half just to give it a nice good crease. And again, we have, when we make it our arrow, we have made a little pocket. And we're going to put this, the opposite kind of corner of our arrow into that pocket. And again, you can kind of fold it in half and fold it down so it has a natural crease when you fold it into it the opposite way. So then we're gonna open like that. I'm gonna kind of open up that pocket. We're gonna fold that in. Oh, that one was not much nicer than my first one, I think anyway. And then you are finished. And then again, yeah, you're gonna have this little opening in the, I don't know, this part. It's like the joint part. So then your finger should be able to fit right in. So yeah, so these are really fun, I think. I'm gonna add a few that I have made already. Maybe do opposites, orange and green, orange and green. Yeah, so they are, I think they're pretty fun. Again, they're kind of like Edward Scissorhandsy. So if you need to be Edward Scissorhands, black shirt, black pants, maybe some a black glove, maybe some silver or gray paper, and then paint your face and dye your hair black and make it all poofy. It's been a while since I've seen Edward Scissorhands, but I feel like Johnny Depp has some poofy hair in that movie. It's kind of older, so maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It's an 80s classic, so yeah. Anyway, these are some fun Halloween clothes. So maybe if you wanted to be a dinosaur, you could have maybe the green and orange, and these, because they kind of have a scaly effect as well, which I think is kind of fun. But yeah, I think I'm going to wear these all day on Friday. We can dress up here at Do Space for Halloween, and so I might wear these on Friday and do my typing and see how long I last with these things, helping members coming in and doing my typing. What do you think? Do you think I can last long with these? I'm not sure. We will find out. Okay, I'm going to take these off now. Okay, and the next thing we are going to make is, so many, our little pumpkin guy. So this is a lot of fun. I really like our little pumpkin guy. I think that it makes for a fun decoration. If you maybe just want to, if you don't have very many Halloween decorations around the house, if you just want to make a few of these, they're a lot of fun. You can make it so they kind of stand up by themselves, which I know it's hard to see at this angle, but it's standing up by itself. You can make it maybe a pin, if you had a sticky back pin to wear, or a magnet. You could put on, your fridge. But I think just kind of having them stand up, if you needed to decorate your desk in a fun way, you could always do that. Yeah. So we are going to get started. So what I have, we are going to be doing this with some orange origami paper. So I mean, it's origami paper because one side is colored and one isn't. So it's not like, but this isn't, again, it's kind of like with our claws, it's not a big deal. If you don't have origami paper, it's like not an issue at all. This is about 6 inches by 6 inches, so it's rather small. Excuse me. It's rather small. So you could absolutely do with this with like larger paper. You know, I have this orange copy paper just for comparison. If I cut this into a square, so if I, you know, cut this to be 8.5 by 8.5, I can make a larger pumpkin if I wanted to. So you can make different size pumpkins, different color pumpkins, decorate them in different ways. Yeah, so I think they're a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get started. This one's actually pretty easy, which I think is always nice. So the first thing we are going to do is we're just going to be making a lot of opposite, and a lot of opposite folds. So basically we want to fold, you know, if we're doing a diamond, we're going to fold opposite corner and then opposite to opposite corner. So we'll just start with one like this. So we're just going to be doing folding corners opposite. That up so you can see our first crease. So have you picked a jack-o'-lantern? Have you picked a pumpkin yet this year? Are you making a jack-o'-lantern? I love making jack-o'-lanterns. I don't know what's more fun, just like making it and then like putting the candle, or getting all the gunk out and making pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds, so I think it's a lot of fun to make jack-o'-lanterns. Then you get a snack afterwards. Pumpkin seeds are apparently like really good for you. So yeah, roast them up, take them out. If you leave the guts on, I think if you leave a little bit of the stuff on, you don't wipe them off or clean them off, salt and pepper, and put them in the oven with some olive oil, and I don't know, roast them for maybe 20 minutes on some temperature. I'm sure you can find a recipe online, but they're really good. They're really good. Okay, so now we are going to then, I'm going to flip it the other way, and we're going to do our sides. So opposite side to opposite side. Just like that. Okay. So I did one, doing the other opposite sides. So by doing this, when we open it up, you should be able to see, I might bring it up a little bit, it's kind of hard with the glare, it's kind of shiny, maybe it's better on this side, a little bit. But we have all of these creases, right? So basically we have an X and then like a T, for lack of a better word. So actually what we are going to do, I'm going to do the sides that it doesn't really matter, but what we're going to do next is we're actually going to kind of like bring everything almost to the middle. So what I'm actually doing is, like, you should see we have like a triangle here and a triangle here, and there's a crease in the middle of those triangles, right? So basically what I'm going to be doing is like bringing, kind of pinching either side of that crease that we made, and then we're going to kind of like bring it towards the middle so that the T-cross almost come in onto each other. So kind of, it's hard to explain. You just want to top the grass at the top of the corners and then push them together. It's a little bit tricky, but once you get it, it's going to come together kind of like this. So bring it together and then bring it together like that. I'm going to do that one more time. So basically all of those creases have made it. So once you get it, it's going to look a little bit like this. And then when you flatten it out, it makes a diamond shape. So you can see. And when you if you open it, it makes almost like there's like 4 layers or 4 sides, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we kind of flatten it out, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how I'm going to number them. So this is going to be flap number 1. This is going to be flap number 2, flap number 3, and flap number 4. So if we open it up, so there's 2 on one side and 2 on the other. That's kind of our middle. And what we're going to do next is we are going to open it so that we still have our diamond, but we have 1 and 2. So basically we have the 1, and then there's 3 on the other side. So 1, 2, 3. So we have flap number 1 and flap number 2. And what we're going to be doing is folding flap number 2. Not flap number 1, but we're going to be folding flap number 2, just like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to be, basically what this fold is called, it's called a kite fold a little bit. So what we're going to do is we are going to be bringing this edge again towards the middle. So we did this earlier, right? We did this with our claws. So we're going to be bringing it towards the middle, just like that. I know it's kind of hard to see. I might zoom in a little bit. A little bit easier to see. There we are. So we're folding it in so this edge of our number 2, our layer number 2, is folds in and aligns with that middle crease, right? And then we're going to do the same thing, only with you should see that there's like a little bit, the rest, you should see a little bit more of this edge. We're going to fold that down towards the middle. And doing the same thing where it aligns with that middle crease. So it's going to look something like that. So again, I folded this inwards so that this edge, this bottom part of our diamond, runs parallel to our middle crease. And then we're doing the same with this top edge. So it runs parallel or lines with that middle crease. So then when we bring that back over, you have kind of like, I'm going to open this up, a little point, just like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same exact thing, but on the opposite side. So we're going to fold this open. So this is basically flap number 3, and then this is flap number 4. So we're opening it up, and we're going to do this same exact thing. We're going to take this edge, we're going to fold it up so it's parallel or it aligns and meets up with that middle crease. Nice and then we have this top edge. We're going to bring that down so that it aligns with this middle crease. This one's kind of tricky. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. So then when you open it back up, you kind of see a diamond within a diamond. So yes, it's going to look like that. So then you are going to flip it over. We're going to flip it over. And we have this bottom part. We're going to just kind of fold it so that all the points, and you kind of know that it's going to be even when all the points align up with that middle crease. So that's going to come over. Now the sides, you're going to do the same with the sides, these side corners. And again, this one's a little bit harder to like figure out if you have it perfectly even, but you just don't want to make it so, fold it so much that it bends back like that and expose it. We want a little bit, I might even make just even a smaller fold. Because you kind of want a fat pumpkin, right? I'm going to fat little pumpkin. Fold in this edge. So again, you can kind of see how that then is making the outside edges of our pumpkin. And we're going to fold this top one down, but we kind of want to fold it a little bit further just because we're going to fold it back onto itself. It's going to be called an accordion fold. So I'm going to fold it down almost to where this point meets this point. I feel like that's kind of a good. And then you're going to fold it back up on itself so that this point goes over this edge. And when you do that, so it's going to kind of look like that. Because when you do that and you flip it over, then you have this little nubbin right here. And if you look at it, it looks like a fat little pumpkin. So I'm actually going to color this part in right up here because it kind of then, this is kind of looks like your stem, the stem of your pumpkin, right? And then this middle part that you folded, you can make your face. So I'm just going to make a little pumpkin face. I'm going to do classic triangle eyes for a jack-o'-lantern. I think you can't go too wrong with classic jack-o'-lantern eyes. And then maybe a classic rectangular nose. And then I might just give our jack-o'-lantern a nice grin. Kind of looks funny. But yeah. But I think, just got marker all on my finger. So I think they're really fun. Again, because of this bottom edge, you can make it kind of situated where it stands up on itself and makes a really cute little decoration. I think they're a lot of fun. So you can make all sorts of different sizes of these and have them kind of scattered around your house or your desk. Maybe give them to a family member. Yeah, so they are a lot of fun. Okay, let's move on to our last one, friends. We are going to be making this cute little classic ghost. I love classic ghosts. I actually was a classic ghost several years ago, long time ago. I dressed up as a classic ghost for Halloween once, and it was so easy. You just, get a plain white sheet, I cut the bottom so it was wavy, and cut eye holes and mouth hole, and I drew on boo coming out of my mouth so people could tell I was a ghost because, just go woo, boo. And then had some black and white tights on and comfy shoes, and it was the most comfortable of Halloween costumes. So if you're needing a Halloween costume, classic ghost is a nice one. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to be making a fun classic ghost. So what you are going to be needing for that is another square piece of paper. Now, I'm going to put a orange piece of paper behind my square just so that you can actually see it because my desk is white and it's kind of hard to see. There we are. But yeah, my square piece of paper, it's about 9 by 9 inches because the width of my paper was 9 inches, so I cut it to be 9. So it's about 9 by 9, but again, it could be bigger, it can be smaller, whatever size. It can be any color you want either. Maybe you want a green ghost or an orange ghost or a purple ghost. Who says ghosts have to be white? They can be any color you want, right? So yeah, so the nice thing about this is that, again, any kind of size and really any color you like too. So yeah, so this one is pretty easy. It's pretty easy, pretty quick. So we'll get through it pretty fast. But what you're going to do, you want to orient it as a diamond first. And we're going to fold it so we have one opposite corner to the other opposite. So I'm going to do it the side corners. So those are just going to meet that up. Okay, so I might even get my handy dandy marker out, make a nice good crease. So you're going to open that up. And so we are going to make that kite fold again. So we're going to be, this one's being called a kite base even. So we're going to be making that kite fold. So basically we are going to be folding it so this edge aligns with this middle crease. So another way is this edge is going to be going across. It's going to be perpendicular to our crease. It's called perpendicular. So we're going to be aligning this edge of our diamond with our middle crease. And you'll learn why it's called a kite base. So when we do the other side, line that up. It looks like a kite. Should maybe zoom out a little bit more so you can, there we go. So now it looks like a kite. So we have our kite base. So now we have kind of these little guys right here, these flaps, and we're gonna fold down the corners of these two flaps so they kind of stick out like lapels. Kind of the best way to judge this is I kind of base it on these corners. If it's folded in a way that it makes a nice corner out that way, that, you know, then you're pretty good. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So a lapel is like a collar on a shirt or a jacket, for those who may not know what a lapel is. You see lapels on like fancy like tuxedos. Okay, for suits. So yeah, so it's gonna fold out just like that, and they kind of look like little arms. So we're gonna actually turn this around, and when you do, you can see the folds that we just made, these like flaps. And we're actually gonna fold it so they wrap around the base of our ghost. Just like this. Okay, so now we are going to fold these corners, or again, kind of like this side, or actually not this side, it's going to be up here. So we're going to be folding it so that these top edges are aligned or parallel with this middle one. So we got this top edge, and I like to do where I kind of keep my thumb on the top corner so that when I fold it, it doesn't want to like fold funky. So if you just put your thumb at this top corner just to keep it stable, it's a little bit easier to bring this over. And again, this side is going to be aligning or meeting up with this middle crease. We're going to do the same thing with the opposite side. So this top side is going to come down and align with our middle crease. Ooh, did not fold very well. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is make our ghosty head. So I'm going to fold it kind of a little bit down where these folds are. And we're going to fold it kind of far down, just like that. And we're actually going to fold it back up onto itself, kind of like what we did with the pumpkin. We're going to fold it back up, and that's going to make kind of a neck. And then we're going to fold just the tip part down. So then when we turn it over, it kind of looks like a ghost. And then this is going to be our tail, or the bottom part of your ghost. I guess ghosts don't have tails. But I just kind of folded it over at a funny angle and then folded it in again. I kind of think it looks like a genie. to be honest. Like from Aladdin, I feel like it kind of looks like a genie. But yeah, but then you have that fun little ghosty, which you can make to be looking more like a ghosty by putting some eyes and maybe a funny mouth. Maybe him saying boo, boom. And then you have like a cute little ghosty. So yeah, so these kind of make for like fun decorations if you need to like do some quick and easy decorations, but you don't want to go out and buy any. You can just make some for yourself. So yeah, so you guys, thank you so much for joining me today and making all of our fun Halloween inspired origami. So this is going to be our last origami series. Next week we are going to be making some little bots with little motors, and you can make them with paper, you can make them with stuff you have around the house. They're going to be a lot of fun, really easy to do. So please join me next week when we make these little vibrating bots that are a lot of fun. Yeah, so everybody, thank you for joining me again today for After School Club Junior Makers, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.